Hello. Rocky's not here today. Sometimes I really feel like I'm carrying the weight of this operation, but that's okay. Happy International Women's Day. I guess I'll start. Okay, I have some of my questions from a couple weeks ago, plus some from Brenda, plus some from Romeo so far, which usually takes the whole hour, so I will start there. So I'll just get Seth to come through. Hello. First, we will start with Randy's questions. Now that there are no children around, we can feel comfortable answering all of them because there's nothing to do with death or sex for the little ears. So, number 1. How can the universe hear my thoughts? It's a strange concept, but when you talk out loud, people can hear you. So, when you're thinking, you are speaking. You're just speaking at a different volume, but it's a volume that the universe can hear. It's like dogs who can pick up high-pitched sounds that humans can't. It's like that. It's just a different sound frequency that the universe taps into that right now humans don't tap into. So it's just like if there was a really, really strong amplifier and you had a very, very light sound, because your thoughts have sound and the universe picks it up. It's just a different level of sound. 2. Are men in positions of power because they orgasm more often and are therefore in alignment, or because they are physically bigger and stronger, and women have just always been in meek, subservient positions? One of the fastest ways to get into the vortex and to raise your vibration, yes, is with sex and with reaching climax and orgasm during sex. So yes, men do that much more often, so they are in the vortex more easily. But there are other ways to get into the vortex. You can't just be, overly in love with your life and really enjoying things and really appreciating and having gratitude for everything. So that is one avenue to get into the vortex, but it's not the only one. In this physical existence, men are usually in roles of power, but in other realities, women are equal, or because they give birth and create life, are given more of a powerful position. But yes, the physical strength of men can be intimidating, and it just puts you, it can put a woman in an uncomfortable situation, because if you're bigger, you feel more comfortable sometimes. You feel less threatened, but even if there isn't a physical threat, just knowing that you're bigger can be more comforting. But in this experience, men are usually in positions of power, but that is changing. There's more push towards equal opportunities, a push for more women in certain positions that are usually dominated by men, like they're recruiting firefighters, police officers. There are usually more nurses who are women, but they're encouraging more and more to become doctors, so it's not just men in charge. And it will continue to go that way until it's a lot more even. Number 3. I believe I answered this already, but we can review it. Why is flying safer than driving? More people wanting a safe trip? Pretty much. But there's also, airlines know that if people think that flying is less safe than driving, they're not going to. So they've made up this idea that flying is safer to attract more people to want to fly because it makes them more comfortable. And it's like this false belief that's become real because there's momentum and energy behind it. So if you have lots of people thinking, oh, flying's safe, everybody's at ease, everybody's comfortable, everybody knows it's going to be a safe flight, there's no issue. But if you have a statistic that says flying is 10 times more dangerous than driving, no one's going to want to fly. So the airlines picked up on this. But it is also, yes, there's, hundreds compared to 1, 2, 3, 4 in a vehicle. So there are far more souls looking for a safe passage to another place. So it is a safe journey. And unless a whole bunch of souls are looking for the experience of going through and surviving or not a plane crash, then yes, they can all experience that. But for the most part, flying is, yes, considered quite safe. Partly because of the belief that it's safe, which perpetuates it, and also the large number of souls wanting a safe trip. Number 4. Are people inherently gay or straight? If we lived in a liberal, non-judgmental society, would most people date or have sex with both sexes? That's the way things are going. Although in the 70s there was this whole free spirit wild child movement, but it wasn't so much focused on gay experiences, but it started that. But yes, people are less likely to get married now. People have more of a boho, free spirit attitude, laissez-faire. We don't put labels on things. Or polyamory, they might experience it and try it. More and more people are coming out as gay. More and more women are coming out as gay. And you're in a time where you don't have to fear for your life in Western society if you do that. And there's no set terms of you're born gay, you're born straight. You can, everybody is born with an experience they want in mind, but things can always change. And as you grow up, you can become bi-curious, as people like to say, or just curious, or you just fall for somebody's soul and you really connect, and then they happen to be an opposite sex, and it can be confusing. Some might just keep it as a best friend relationship, and some might pursue it further. It depends on who you grow up around, what college you go to, how open your friends and family are, on whether or not most people pursue it, if they didn't come for the experience of, discovering themselves and knowing that they're gay, and then having a lifestyle that they're in a relationship with the same sex. So as the times progress, more and more people will experiment more as young people, and you'll see more people who date 3 or 4 guys, and then 3 or 4 girls, and then a guy, and then a girl, and it's more mixed rather than just one sex. Because people are starting to realize it's not about the gender or the body, it's about the soul and who you connect with. So yes, you're moving more towards that kind of a society. Okay, so we're going to open up Brenda's questions. Bear with me. Go to... Okay, Brenda. So, let's get to the top here. Okay, number 1. How can we compare an atom to a microsecond? Well, time is made up, but for the purpose of Earth, you do have this concept of time. An atom is a very, very small thing. So if you think in terms of size, an atom is tiny, a microsecond is tiny. It still takes up physical space, but it's very, very minimal. In terms of the entire universe, you have trillions and gazillions of atoms that make up everything. And in terms of time, with, how many thousands of years Earth's been around and will be around, then you've got a size comparison. So you've got atoms, like this little speck in this enormous space, and a microsecond is this little speck in time in the grand scheme of all time. So we think that's what you're going with, but they're both very small, very minimal. You blink and it's gone. With a microsecond, you don't even blink, it's already gone. An atom, you can barely see it, it's so small. So in those terms, it's a very small thing in a very big picture. What other multidimensional gifts do we have? Well, you can communicate with non-physical. You create your reality, so your thoughts become things. What you focus on grows. You can astral project. You can influence other people's experiences. Randy actually did this the other day. She did writing for someone who's been asking for something for a while that hasn't yet manifested. So she wanted to give like a secretive boost. You have the power to influence your experience and to create in your dreams. And you have the power to tell yourself that you want to do that and also remember it. You have the ability to regrow limbs if you choose, teeth, fingers, toes. You can visit with people who are in non-physical. Easiest way is in your dreams, or during meditation you can have a conversation. Oh look, the little slacker showed up, Rocky. There are many gifts that there is some writing about them, but there's also a lot that aren't written about. But what we would focus on is mostly your influence on other people. Like, you can, without saying anything, raise somebody's vibration. If you have, especially if you have kids and because they can be up and down really easy. So if you are calm, you say to yourself, I want peace to wash over everyone, I want things to simmer down, everyone to feel happy again. You can do that, and you just say it in your mind. And yeah, that's the biggest thing we focus on, is you can change situations and you can influence other people with just talking in your mind. But yes, lots and lots of powers. You can body douse, you can use a, let's see if I can find it. Somewhere in her purse, you can use one of these little tools. Let's see if it is in here somewhere. She should really sort this out for some more clarity. Oh, she already took it out. Ah, there it is. A pendulum. So, she showed this last week, but I don't think it got enough attention. This is her pendulum. If we were in the movie Inception, this is probably something she would keep in her pocket as her item, so no one could touch it. It's some kind of crystal, but Randy's not good with names. She's just good with what she likes. So it's clear and it's round, which is different. They're usually pointed, which can help some people, but the look of it, like a drop of water from the ocean, is what she liked. So you can get answers. So first you have to clear it. You have to ask for a yes answer and then a no answer, and then you can ask questions. So we'll start there. Okay. Show me a yes response. So I'm not doing anything on my hand because you can't quite see it, but it just started spinning to the left on its own. So show me a no response. So it's going to the right. Now, this changes every time, so you do need to ask every time. You can't just rely on it always going to the left, because it's whoever, what non-physical, what spirit, whoever's helping you, who moves it. So yes is to the left, no is to the right. So okay, I've got it cleared. Are Randy and Rocky going to start touring this year? To the left, so that's a yes. Are Rocky and Randy going to have children within this next year? Children, notice that. So it's to the left. Busy, busy. Anyways, so this is an example of a pendulum. Very fun. We'll put it in her drawer. But the other thing, like I was saying, you can do is body dousing. So you can ask to be shown the direction of something, or you can ask for yes or no. And what Randy used to do is she'd say, for a yes answer, lean me to the left, for a no, to the right, for a maybe, forward. Or she would just say, show me yes, show me no. So I will show you with her body. Lean me in the direction of a yes answer. Okay. Lean me in the direction of a no answer. Okay. It's not necessary to have a maybe response. Is today Wednesday? Yes. Is tomorrow Thursday? Is Randy teaching tomorrow? Yes. Not this kind of teaching. She's teaching at a school, which is really fun. It's not really like work, it's just fun. Is Rocky on his way back? We know because he's watching. But he will be soon. So anyways, that's how you do it. It's really good if you're hunting or you're looking for gold or looking for water. Lead me in the direction of the closest water I can access, and then you'll be tugged. Or start walking me in the direction of the nearest water I can access, and you'll feel your feet lift. It's really fun. So, anyways, moving on. Brenda, how can I/we see better opportunities daily? Do they arrive as symbols? They can. or they just pop up. Usually it seems randomly, but of course nothing is random. Like Randy was looking on Facebook yesterday, and her and Rocky had been discussing, well, if we, start traveling and charging for seminars, well, when? How do we do that? And an ad popped up for an electronic credit card reader that you plug into your phone. And she thought, oh, what a coincidence. And started researching it and looking into all the different ones, because she keeps doing card readings for herself. And research keeps popping up. You need to do more research. So the e-readers charge you every time, and there's a bunch of different companies who have them, and they all charge different percentages, and some have contracts and some don't, so that's why I have to research it. So that's just an example. It wasn't a symbol, it was just a thing she'd been asking for that came into experience. So you might get a random email, phone call, maybe someone you've been thinking of out of the blue messages you, so you get to chat at them. Maybe you run into someone at the grocery store. Maybe you overhear a conversation about something you actually know a lot about and can help the person. And maybe you'd been wanting to share that kind of information with someone. So pay attention, because things will pop up. But if you're maybe debating whether or not to go a certain way with something, and you're kind of pitter-pattering over it in your mind, you'll start to hear things that are signs. So when Randy first started channeling me, she was in the grocery store like a couple weeks later or something, and she heard a dad at the register calling to his kid as they were leaving, Seth! Which was funny because it's not a very common name right now, and so she thought that was just funny. And yes, just notice them when they happen, and then you'll get more of them. Don't just brush it off. Know that that was purposely brought into your experience for a reason, and just think, oh, that's cool, and then you'll get more and more. Okay, how do we access the appointments we made before this existence? One of the easiest ways is to get information, especially like information that's like non-physical, is by asking to see it clearly in a dream and remembering it, or when you're meditating, to ask for that, or to do automatic writing. Or you could go to a card reader if you wanted, or a medium or channeler, whoever, and they can access that information and translate it to you pretty easy. So lots of different ways. And if you're doing a job and it feels good, you're on the right path. So you've probably already accessed those kind of appointments before you get any other confirmation. So for Brenda, something that was big for her was family and a big family. And she's got several kids and will have lots of grandkids and will always have family around her, and that was one of her big things for this experience. And so she's already discovered that and is living that. Okay, next one. How can we use sound to grow ourselves? Music can access emotions that maybe other things can't, like talking and writing and whatever. So typically you'll find when people have a breakup and are very sad, they listen to sad music. And when they're really angry, they listen to really angry music. When they're really happy, really upbeat, dancey music. When they're about to go to the bar, really fun, party music. So, and they always say to listen to classical music when you're studying or working, because the variation of keys does open up your senses and help you with memory and retaining and all sorts of good things. So we would suggest when you're writing or painting or doing something that's creative that you have some kind of music that's like a really light melody, it's gentle. You know, sometimes, like on YouTube, there's all sorts of like hour, even long videos where it's no lyrics, it's just like sounds. Or classical music, like Beethoven or whatever. Listen to that, and you'll just find you're more productive when it's playing in the background, even if you're not like really listening to it. It's more like a subconscious, like a lighter listening, but it will have a positive effect. So, and if you enjoy writing music, that's good too, because it really gets emotions out that maybe you wouldn't have otherwise. And it's really great for when you exercise because it motivates you and it takes some of your attention off the physical exertion and more on towards the enjoyment of music, which helps you have a better workout. Okay, all added. Okay, that's the end of Brenda. So, go to Romeo, who has replied as a comment. So let's just go over there. Okay, number 1. You've said that after a while there are mentors who will try and push you out of non-physical because they think you're hindering your own growth. So basically we have to become non-physical and then we have to become physical. So much for free will. Well, it is free will because you're choosing to stay non-physical for a while. But it's also your oversoul that is trying to give you the boot. So it is you pushing you. It's your free will. It's not someone pushing you, it's someone assisting because your oversoul has asked for interference to push you. And what happens is there's different levels of existence. Physical is a very low one. And you have to live many lives in physical before you go up to the next level. And so by staying in non-physical for an extended period of time, you're just slowing the process is all. And you're missing that there are other great opportunities waiting for you once you take the plunge. Number 2, let's say that a male somehow succeeds in getting pregnant. Well, you did have a pregnant male, just someone who transitioned their gender, but still counts. How the hell would he then give birth to a child? Would it have to be a C-section or is there another way? It would have to be a C-section at this point. Yes, C-section. But eventually, you will have the birthing organs in both females and males to have children. Number 3, you said that you can recreate food and the experience of eating in non-physical, but it's just not the same. So what's the main difference? It would be like in Casper, when you have the uncles, the ghost uncles, who eat and eat and eat and eat and the food just pours through them. It would almost be like if you were to eat a rock and just imagine it was pizza and based on your memory, try and visualize that flavor as you ate the rock. That's what it'd be like. It'd be like play eating, not getting the flavor, just based on memory having the flavor in your mind. 4, should I get dental implants or try to naturally grow back some of my adult teeth which were mistakenly removed as a child? You could certainly try and regrow them. People have done it before. You could do more research on it. There are native peoples, tribes and stuff who have done it many times. You could try drawing a picture of yourself with a full set of teeth. Instead of feeling the space where you're lacking a tooth, just like draw your finger over top and just imagine it as all being full. You can imagine it pulsing and it growing. You can ask for it to grow a lot while you're sleeping. And when you're referring to your teeth, talk about your full set of teeth. Don't talk about like your teeth missing a few. Talk about I've got a full set of teeth. And really feel the impact of those words and do writing on it and, you know, thank your body for healing and for regrowing and for saving you money. And then after a while, if you're not seeing much progress and it's not seeming to work, well, if you want implants, go for it. But it's definitely something that's in your capabilities. Number 5. Who is this Rupert person who seems to transcend lifetimes? What time period were you and Rupert physically focused in? Well, we were focused like 30 years ago. Ish. But Rupert is Jane Roberts. It's just Jane's like best version of her physical self on Earth. So Rupert is a soul. It's Jane. It's like the best version of Jane. And by transcend lifetimes, all souls, including yours, will reincarnate, so you all transcend lifetimes. Rupert and I were in the 1400s together, for one, in the 1800s, and the 1600s, in different lifetimes. One was in Europe, one was in America, the other one was also in Europe. Number 6. When we made contact with the extraterrestrials during Reagan's presidency, where was the wall that was used for communication located? Were the extraterrestrials on a ship, or did they come out of their ship? They stayed in their ship. This was in Area 51. And they sent messages out of the ship, but they didn't fully come out of the ship because they weren't sure if it was a trap or not. And then the wall, they had like a window on their ship that they could communicate out of, and then there was like a wall and in a big building in Area 51. Seven, I have no problem with gay or trans people, but is that experience chosen from non-physical, or does it happen on a physical level? Both. Usually it's chosen before you come here. But like we were saying earlier, people can be attracted to different souls, and then it ends up being a person of the same gender, and then that's something that you choose to pursue or not. But generally, yes, that is, well, right now it's something that you choose before you come here because it's seen as such a big deal, but it's becoming more and more the norm. Seth, are you mostly male or female or both? How does the idea of gender fit in the scope of existence in non-physical? We are comprised mostly of male, but there is female as well. In non-physical, you generally reflect your like best, healthiest, younger self from physical, and everyone you communicate with is the same, just so that you recognize them at first. But in non-physical, you can also change your appearance, so you can suddenly look like a male, and people still recognize you. So, gender is just, it's more of a physical appearance thing, it's not innately who you are. Number 9. I know about the placebo effect and how it works, but does that mean that the only reason that pills ever work is because of labels and beliefs? Yes. Are pills and medication just permission slips? Yes, they work because you think they work, and because someone told you that work, and because it's an expert, a doctor. People think they must know what they're talking about, so it works. That's why no medication ever works the same for the same 100 people. And there's always a reason why it didn't work for whoever it didn't work for, and who it did. So, yes, if you believe that your cancer curing medication is going to fix it, it will. If you have some doubt and are just unhappy in general and just are really mad that you have cancer, it won't work. But eventually this will become mainstream knowledge, and all medications will cease to exist, and people will just meditate and raise their vibration and heal themselves. Number 10. Are pendulums similar to Ouija boards? Who or what moves the pendulum when doing yes or no questions? They are, because a Ouija board is a tool to connect with non-physical. It's either your guides or non-physical helpers around you, like maybe your transitioned grandma or uncle or friend, or just someone nearby who is happy to help. And it's not like this scary thing how movies make them out to be like ghosts warning you or whatever. It's just, it's non-physical energy. It's often your own guides, and they give you information that you are asking for. See, Rocky has a question. That's about a third of Romeo's, so we'll do Rocky's next. Rocky, how can I become a better teacher? By not saying the same thing over and over. If somebody doesn't understand something, it is not because they don't understand it, it's because you don't know how to teach it. So if you say a certain thing and it doesn't really resonate with someone, find a different way to say it. And give different examples and different words and different terms, and then it might finally click with that person. You know, keep doing as you are, keep meditating, keep drinking lots of water. Don't be afraid to celebrate your accomplishments and to tell people about them, because it just shows other people that you have manifested and you know how to manifest, and then they start to realize that you're really good at it, and then they want to ask you more and more about it so that they can do it for themselves. Continue writing your book, and more words will come to you that you find are helpful in relaying information to others. Number 11. If time doesn't exist in non-physical, then does that mean you could go do other stuff and then come back to us in an instant, Seth? Like you never even left? Yes. It's kind of like in Inception, when you go down these deeper levels, how time becomes tenfold, and like in Interstellar, when they go to that one planet, I think it's 12 years, when it was only an hour, and so 12 years on Earth that they've lost. Time is very tricky to explain to a human mind. There are a few movies that are really good to watch, Cloud Atlas being one, because it shows like a group of, I think, 5 or 6 core characters and their different experiences, and they're all intermingling, so they're different lifetimes, and some are in the future, some are in the past, and it just keeps jumping back and forth. And if you were pulled out and looking at your life from an outside perspective, you would see these several different lives that you're living simultaneously in different years. So time, like all time is now. And sometimes things will appear to take an hour and they only take a minute. Sometimes things will feel like it's been a minute, but it's been an hour. It's just all dependent on emotions. It really affects one another. 12. How are babies made on the extraterrestrial being Bashar's planet? There's a kind of ceremony. Sounds really funny, but it's kind of like a ceremony. Imagine like a stone square contraption with a dip where a baby would go. And lots of candles and drums and people in outfits drumming and chanting, and from this they're calling for a child spirit, and then a child appears, a newborn, but they're basically called and then they're transferred to that planet. 13. Why do minor injuries seem to heal up quicker than severe injuries? The terminology right there. You see a small cut as small, and you see like a big gash as severe, so putting those labels on it determines how quickly it heals. When I get a small cut on my finger, I don't have to do any focusing or asking for it to heal, it just heals. Why is it that when it's a more severe injury, we have to do all of this asking and meditating to grow it back? If it's a smaller cut, it's less cells involved to heal it. If it's a larger cut, it's a lot more, but they could both accomplish the healing process at the same time. It's just your thought behind it. If you see a giant gash or a big bruise, you think, oh, it's going to be a while till that heals, so it slows it down. But anything can heal in a short amount of time. And often when you pass out from an injury, that is when the most work is done, because you're not hindering the speed because you're not awake. So your body can work really hard, really quickly to heal things. So don't put labels on it, just, oh, I have a small cut. I have this little thing, but it's healing itself really fast. 14. What is the leading edge and who is all on it? Are physically focused beings the pioneers of existence? That's well put. Esther, Jerry Hicks, Jane Roberts, Rubber Butts, April Crawford, Sheila, Oprah, the Obamas. anyone in a big position of power, even Trump, Trudeau, Kim Jong. Kim Jong in a different way. He knows the law of attraction, but he doesn't fully understand it because he's not positive, he's not based on love, but he does know how to get what he wants, so he's part way there. But he's not quite the leading edge. He is very successful. So, yeah, give me a minute. Yeah, I'm just doing a video. Okay. Sorry, I'm being called for dinner. Well, Randy is. So, leading edge. Anybody who understands and applies and practices the law of attraction and is very successful, usually people who are rich, but not always, are the leading edge. And they do influence a lot of things because they're usually in positions of power, like Oprah, or presidents, and have a lot of money, and so they can put money towards certain things that they want to push and focus on and support. But everybody creates their existence, so it's not like they can change your reality. They can influence it, but you ultimately are as powerful as them once you're focused and you create your existence. 15. In the future, will it be possible for a computer or machine to channel collective consciousness such as Seth? It's possible, but it's unlikely because it's less personal. Spirits like to come through other spirits. And people wouldn't believe it if it was a machine, they just think it was programmed. So, there will be some who try it just to try it, but ultimately it'll be physical bodies that channel. 16. When you say that you've lived thousands and thousands of lives, is that including the other two energies that make up Seth's lives too? Yes, all of us have lived approximately the same, but thousands and thousands, yes, each. 17. You've lived a lot of lives, Seth, so in your experience so far, what is your all-time favorite piece of music in the whole wide world? I like Big Butts. I'm just kidding. It's one of Randy's favorites. I wouldn't say I have one, or we have one, but we really do connect with the Beatles and Beethoven. How did the juveniles who first inhabited the planet first acquire food? Was it a difficult life for the children? This idea reminds me of the 1954 novel Lord of the Flies. Yes, but a little less gruesome. They didn't try and kill each other. Well, they were led to it and they asked. They had a lot of guidance, remember, from non-physical. So if they thought of food, they suddenly felt they were walking towards it. They discovered they could eat plants. There's lots and lots of vegetation around them. They understood the concept of gardening right away. They found animals that they hunted. It's almost like the Garden of Eden, like if you're in it but you're allowed to eat everything. Things just presented themselves to them to make it an easier experience. It wasn't very difficult. It was fun and it was adventurous and it was an adventure. 19. Could a fourth energy join the Seth triangle? Or could one leave? Or is it just going to be the three of you forever and ever and ever? We cycle out, so we're not the same three that we had with Jane. Souls move on, they go to other lives, and with Abraham it's not the same ones that it's always been. It does change. It will remain the same three for Randy's lifetime while she channels, but once she transitions and the next person comes through who wants to channel Seth, it might change for fresh information, different perspectives, different ways of teaching. 20. What's the point of mentioning that there are 3 separate energies if you all operate as one mind? Is Seth sort of like a team name? Yes, Seth is a team name. The point is to show you that it's not like one God. It's a multitude of experiences and energies, and to really highlight the fact that if one of us lacks, or one of us kind of has one way of describing a technique or process, there's 2 other personalities who also have other ways of describing. So it just shows that there's not like one person who knows everything. There's lots of people who have lots of experiences and intelligence. 21. You said that nobody is bad, but I think that pedophiles, rapists, and murderers are some of the worst kinds of people. How are they not bad from a human perspective? Yes, it is human to think that they are bad, and Randy also used to think that, especially studying criminology in university. But everybody comes from a different experience, and everybody goes to non-physical, and then it's all good again. It's wiped clean. So yes, Hitler would be seen as a bad guy, but he was also a really great leader. Not condoning any of Hitler's actions, but he came for the experience of being very influential and very powerful, and he achieved it. Lots of people come for the experience of being in a position where they lose power and maybe they're killed. But it's all decided before you come. So Randy knows someone who shot someone and then shot themselves, but that couple has lived many, many lives together and continues to live lives together, and they wanted that experience, and there's no hard feelings. Like, it was what they wanted. So pedophiles, they often struggle with acting on their impulses and stopping themselves, but wanting to, and it's this internal struggle, but it's the experience they wanted. There's different lessons you can learn from different experiences. You don't ever have to be a rapist, a pedophile, or a murderer. At least these are all just human terms, but you don't have to have that experience if that's not something you want. You can experience whatever you need to learn in different ways. So just know that all souls end up in non-physical. No one goes to heaven, no one goes to hell. You all go to non-physical, so you're all in an equal field. You all learn from experiences, so even if you weren't seen in the best light on earth, there's something that you learned and you can take forward with you. So yes, they're unpleasant experiences, but it doesn't make them an evil person. 22. You've mentioned that loved ones who transition can give us signs. How do they do that when they're non-physical? Can non-physical beings manipulate stuff to send messages? Yes. They're non-physical, but they can be here, and they can have a desire, a want that is so strong that it influences you. So it could blow a door shut, or knock a sweater off a dresser, or make a dime appear. But you control it. So if you were uncomfortable and you don't like those signs, you can just say go away and they'll stop. But because you're allowing it and you're asking for signs subconsciously, you're allowing them to bring signs. So they don't have a physical body here, but through their wanting and your wanting, they can have little moments where they influence physical. Okay, we'll do one more of Romeo's, then Brenda's, and then that'll wrap it up. 23. How can I speed up the manifestation process? Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Appreciate everything you have, no matter how big or small. I love how clean my teeth feel when I brush them. I love this hot shower. This orange tastes delicious this morning. This coffee is so good. My dog is so happy to see me every day. I love it. On and on and on and on and on. No matter how big, how small, you'll get more and more to appreciate, which will just raise your vibration more and more, which will bring what you want. Ask as well. You can't get anything without asking, so don't get to the point where you're just begging and desperate, but ask for what you want. I want a GMC 4-door truck. And I want to run really great, and I want to just love it. And just think about how awesome it would be to drive it, how it would feel, where would you go, what would you listen to on the radio, what CDs would you put in, would you listen to podcasts, like, would you go off-roading, would you go hunting, fishing, camping, just think about what you would do with it, how fun it would be, and just think of the fun, and the fun allows you to allow the universe to bring it to you. Okay, Brenda. Can we apply this small concept of a small cut to everything else? Yes. If you have a huge debt, oh, I owe a little bit of money, but I have money on the way to take care of it. You have a pounding headache. Oh, my head's a little off, but it's going to heal itself rapidly. You have a giant pile of laundry. Oh, I have some laundry to do, it'll get done. It just makes it seem less daunting. You have 30 people you need to buy Christmas presents for, and you have a week. Oh, I've got a couple gifts to get, but I've got lots of ideas, and everything just falls into my lap. And I know as soon as I go to the mall, everything I want will be so easy to find. Just down talk whatever big thing you have, and it will make it less big, and it'll be easy. And you'll just find once you start doing it that you continue to, and your body just heals itself on its own. You have chores and things to do, but it seems like less and less. You don't even notice it. You just kind of do it half-mindedly while you have the radio on or TV on, or you're talking on the phone or whatever. You're multitasking, and so it doesn't even seem like a thing anymore. So, yes, downplay things that seem big so that they can sort themselves out faster. Yes. Okay, we have time for one more. 24. How does cannabis and alcohol affect our ability to manifest things? You can't. Unless your mind is clear, you cannot focus. You might create some really great things while you're high, like music, like many do. But other than that, we're like pictures, paintings. But other than that, like alcohol impairs your judgment, so it affects how you manifest. And you might get more creative in your asking, but you won't manifest until you're sober, clear-headed, and you can focus, and you can really hear, and you can really send what you want out to the universe. Because if you're slurring all your words, your thoughts are slurred, nothing's clear, and so the universe just kind of puts it on hold until it's clear in your mind, until you're clear, and then you can manifest. So there's nothing wrong with using those things if you're looking to have that kind of experience, but you won't manifest while you are on or under the influence of those things. Okay. 5 left. We'll put to next week, and we'll end there. So, goodbye.